Moving to this now, City Power has been instructed to settle its 3.4 billion rand debt to Eskom. The power utility obtained a court judgment ordering the City of Joburg and its entirety to settle its 1 billion rand electricity debt with interest. Eskom says City Power has been defaulting on its electricity bill since October of 2023. Now, the power utility also says it hopes City Power and the City of Joburg will respect the court decision and settle its debt. For more on this, we are joined by energy expert Hugo Kruger. Hugo, a pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon. I want to start by getting clarification of terms, really. Can you explain the difference between load shedding and load reduction, and why it's important for residents to even understand this distinction?
Good morning, thank you. So load shedding is a form of load reduction. Its technical term is manual load reduction. Now, to explain to people, South Africa has about 50,000 megawatts of installed capacity. Last year, about 25,000 was working, and if we were, for argument's sake, in stage 3 load shedding, we would need 3,000 extra. And then what the Eskom system operator would do is it would essentially trip certain areas deliberately, which is called manual load reduction. And the reason for that is if you pull more than available supply, you have a national blackout. So load shedding is a form of load reduction. But I think what is referred to over here is what is generally we call demand-side management. There are clever ways to switch off things very smartly. Say you switch off your fridge for 5 minutes. I'm just making an example now. And you actually reduce the load on the system without impeding, people's ordinary behaviors. You're trying to reduce the wastage, and I think that's generally what's referred to in the distinction.
So, how severe are the power cuts currently being experienced by Gauteng residents, and what are the primary factors contributing to these continuous outages?
So the claim is, and I'm just going to go on the official information, that there's a lot of illegal power cuts in Johannesburg and Gauteng area. And basically, we are pulling more than being measured, if you will. And when that occurs, it can be a dangerous situation. And that's why they see these power cuts. It's just they're pulling more than they should be doing it, and that has to be managed. And sort of like a leaking pipe analogy, if you will. If there's more water coming out than going in, or theoretically more than you're planning for, you've got a problem with your system. So that needs to be optimized. So it's a good time to have this discussion now that load shedding has been, I'm saying this in inverted commas, solved, is to how much wastage is there in the system, and can't we reduce that wastage? We save money on fuel, we save money on diesel, and it's overall a win-win situation in my view, except for those who obviously get illegal connections.
Yeah. So our leading story being that City Power has been instructed to settle its 3.4 billion rand debt to Eskom. How do you think the recent court judgment against the City of Johannesburg and City Power will really impact the ongoing power issues? Could this exacerbate the situation for residents by any chance?
My personal view is no. Theoretically, Eskom can say we're going to switch off or we're going to give you a limitation on power, but I don't think politically that's possible, and morally that's acceptable. But what I suspect is this thing is going to go on in the court. As I understand it, the City of Johannesburg is appealing this case. And basically, it comes down to the question of the distribution system. So Eskom sells power to a variety of customers, but one of their biggest customers is the municipalities. And then the municipality resells it through the distribution system. And you need money to maintain that distribution system. And NERSA's tariff, it's always a disputed thing. It's always penalized the municipalities in a certain sense. And the municipalities will say, well, we don't really owe this money because we cannot recover it from our customers. And Eskom would say, but hey, wait a minute, we're selling stuff, and how can you expect us to sell a product? Right. And that's what the dispute was for, is the missing money in the middle.
But with the City of Johannesburg owing Eskom, over 3.4 billion rand, what are the broader implications of this debt on the city's ability to really manage or even maintain its power infrastructure?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's broader than just the City of Johannesburg. We've got a series of defunct municipalities in South Africa that simply don't have enough money coming in to maintain the distribution system. So if the City of Johannesburg doesn't get money, or if they are forced to pay all of this, what's going to happen next year is the question. I mean, you cannot be in a situation where you don't have the distribution system being serviced.
Right.
And I think at the end of the day, I'm going to not make myself popular saying this, but somebody's going to have to increase tariffs somewhere. And it's going to come down to municipal levies.
And as we start wrapping up our conversation, what immediate or even long-term solutions can be implemented to really address both the debt issue, but also this continuous power cuts affecting residents?
So the power cuts can just be monitored simply. The municipality can, cut off the electricity of people that has illegal connections. But you should see Eskom and all of this issue in a broader economic sense. If we have economic growth, you won't have as many illegal connections, for example. You will have the municipality balancing its books much better, and you would have Eskom not being in a black hole. It's actually when you go into an economic crunch, and South Africa hasn't had a lot of growth in the last 10, 15 years, that people don't just stop using electricity, right? They still need to live and things. And then at the end of the day, you've got this massive debt. Now, Eskom's debt, last time I checked, was something like 60 billion rand, I said, in some connection. And that has to be settled either through taxpayers or through tariffs or something. And my ideal is, and this should be a policy of government, is we need to pursue economic growth as fast as possible.
Right.
So we can pay for it, and then everyone can feed from a bigger pizza, if you will.